it, and you're not necessarily going to have that ability with the Blab.
Sure, absolutely. I kind of said yes, and then went through that you can't do the screen capture in the PowerPoint. But having said that, I think
someone mentioned ManyCam or something. It must be it was Dan, I think, Dan Goodwin, that mentioned you can use ManyCam, which you can share screens. Yeah.
I didn't see your mouth move for ages there, and I was thinking you're such a great ventriloquist.
It's probably the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's gone a bit slow. Actually,
I'll step out.
Don't step out. Don't step out if you don't want to step out. I'm just saying. So I absolutely agree, but I think people have moved on to. I mean, the internet has moved on to very, very much rich media, and I think, watching somebody talk over PowerPoint, still great, and I mean, once it's valuable information. But I think as blabbing gets more popular and it's growing, like Periscope and what's the other one, Nomad Cam for Facebook, where you can stream onto your personal page and so on. When people go back, if they've watched a few blabs and they go back looking at a webinar, they go, this is death by PowerPoint to a certain extent. So I think there's going to be, I think it's definitely going to disrupt webinars. It probably won't kill them, particularly the screencast tutorial.
I definitely think it's going to get rid of a lot of the lower quality webinars. But I mean, if it's going to be, it's not going to kill necessarily classes that you're going to be. Let's say, for example, if you sign up for a webinar that you're paying a couple $100 for, and you're speaking to an expert, it's not going to kill that. I mean, you're going there to learn, and I mean, just even look at it this way. I mean, on this Blab, you have 22 viewers, and you only have 3 people chatting. So most people still far prefer to sit there, learn, and lurk, as opposed to participating.
Sure, and they kind of have to do that with webinars too. But I mean, depending on depending on the subject matter and what you're talking about. Hey, Charlene.
Hey, Danny.
You can get through it. I've been on a Blab for 2 hours, and I'm not going to do that now. But the hot seats were kind of like a revolving door. It was great. Pop in, get some coaching, pop out, so we got through quite a few people in terms of questions about online course creation.
Well, the question I mostly struggle with is, obviously, you're going to want to provide value before you're going to get the ultimate sale, whatever it's going to be, whether it's a product or whether it's going to be service. And I know many people, let's say necessarily they give away something for free, whether it's going to be an ebook, whether it's going to be a consultation. But I think more people do that. The challenge is, well, do you just give that out and then hope to capture their information, or do you want to capture their information first? Well, give me your email, give me your name, give me your phone number, and then I'll give you my ebook. Because oftentimes, I mean, I may go somewhere, and if the first thing I see is, hey, give me your contact information before you're able to download something, I'm just going to hit X. I'm going to move on to something else unless I find that it's something I must absolutely have. And it's challenging.
It is.
Particularly.
It is. I think the bar has been raised in terms of the quality of free, and even though it's free, the reader has to read it. Therefore, they have to invest time, and time is the most precious asset we have. So when people say to me, I've got this free book and nobody's downloading it, but it's so great and it's free. It's not free. Nothing is free when there's time involved. So that's the first thing. And because there is so much free, to stick out with your free stuff, the quality and the bar has been raised. But so it's down to, I mean, when you see Tony Robbins and Oprah and Deepak, giving out great stuff for free, you got to go, well, now the bar has definitely been raised when their stuff is free. But we just got to work at it. We got to produce great free. We got to definitely have our product staircase, so that there's something to follow up with. And we have to stick out using Blab so they get to know, like, and trust us, like I've mentioned. And that's what it's just the way the expertise has become such a commodity. that we really got to, as I say, the quality of free has been raised, and we just got to raise with it. Therein lies the challenge for sure. But you got to, at the end of the day, you got to get that email address. And I think lead pages are suffering a little bit because it's so popular. When you go, oh, this is a lead page, or Infusionsoft. If I see Infusionsoft in the email address, I know they're going to, email me into submission, with great copy for sure. But
I didn't know I had that much power.
Yeah, it does. I know it doesn't, but no, I look, Max, I totally get it. My point is, the bar has been raised. We gotta, be at that bar as well with our free stuff. And be ready to follow up. I was on a Blab with a guy last night, and he popped in his website address if you want to check out my stuff, he said, and I clicked on the link. $1,297 a month for his coaching. And I've never heard the guy before, and that was impressive too. I think with price comes positioning. That you have to have. I'm a big believer in Goldilocks pricing, where you have, $45, $95, and $995, and suddenly the $995 makes the $95 look, like great value, because expensive doesn't exist in reality. You can't go out and buy a bag of expensive. It's only relative to a bag of something else. So
well, I guess it also comes down to whether you're giving away the information in order to get a new prospect, or whether you're just doing it to get exposure for your brand. And ultimately it just comes down to, well, prospecting, you can definitely measure the results that you're going to get out of there. But if you do a lot of branding, you really don't know. It works, but you can't necessarily measure it in any indistinguishable way.
Yeah,
sure.
You just do it.
But some of the most successful businesses in the world, their model is primarily free. Google, Facebook, etc., etc. I don't know what the title of Malcolm's book is. It Free the Radical New Price, or the
yes.
price?
Actually, I have it in audiobook, and the audiobook was free.
Yeah, which was free, and it's an amazing book. But it really shakes up our perception of.
But the whole thing with free, it's not necessarily about free; it's about freemium. So, for instance, you can get free Microsoft accounts, but meanwhile, I'm still paying $25 or $30 a month for myself and my employees for the better emails, or to have the Outlook Exchange.
Sure.
With Google, but I think Google's interesting because, yes, they are free, but it's at the point of, you're selling your information, and some people value that and some people don't. I have a lot of clients. Me personally, I would not, there's certain things I don't post on Facebook, and there are certain things that don't go for my Gmail account. Primarily Gmail account is going to be for anything that's spam. So it just comes down to what's the value that you put in your privacy?
Ooh,
sure.
Charlene has joined us, Johnny.
Charlene,
have you got any input on
I'm
this?
well. I'm doing well.
You have a question for us?
Well, I was going to come in with a comment, and I hope it's not too late, veered off topic or anything, and that was in relation to Blab's gonna kill the webinar, so to speak.
Sure.
Like video killed the radio man.
Yeah, Blab is killing the webinar.
Exactly. I knew somebody would pop in with that. It certainly
I'm Irish. We sing all the time, even though we can't.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, mine does too, but I've learned that when I open my mouth. Yeah, exactly. But if I sing, birds just pass out.
So do you think they will or they won't, Charlene?
I don't think they will. I think that going with what Max was saying about what's the purpose of using the platform. And if the purpose is the end result you want to sell, then of course you need to be on a platform that allows you to be a part of a sales funnel for those who are coming through, correct? So why can't you use both platforms? So use the webinar format as the introduction to a future Blab where you go into further discussion and have hot seats related to the webinar that you just did. Then you can record that which is the hot seat part and edit it so that it's interesting content and repurpose it all over the place, which will be attractive for those who want to learn more about what you do, which can therefore send them over to the webinar, which you've got scheduled at such and such time, right? And then get them back to the Blab and just get a good old cycle going that way.
Yeah, I think you can definitely promote one to the other, particularly when the webinar is a little bit of a mini online course.
Exactly, and that's going with your education-based online marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, the point of a webinar to me is to teach something.
Yeah.
Even if the end result is to, in my view, to get you a part of my sales funnel or to sell you something, in the process of that, I have to teach you something of value so that you're interested in buying what it is that I'm selling.
Yeah.
That's my view of the webinar, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like webinar is what to do, not necessarily how to do it. And sometimes I get a little bit of feedback where that wasn't a webinar, that was a course. And tone back on the, like from webinar people, getting advice from them. It's like tone back on so much how to.
Webinars teaching.
Keep it a little bit more high level, yeah.
But I use webinars to sell my trainings, which are more like workshops in a different platform than Blab because it's private.
Okay. But you bring up a very interesting point about repurposing content. Yesterday, I was in a webinar talking about Udemy. Yeah, that's it. However you pronounce it.
Udemy. Mm-hmm.
Udemy. Like Academy.
Let's go with that one today.
From me to you.
Well, there you go. And then we have Samantha.
And a lot of the stuff, a lot of the videos, one of the things I struggle for, and Johnny, you kind of mentioned it before, I have a blog, you have a Twitter account, you have LinkedIn, I publish on a couple of different websites, and it's almost just like overwhelming. I would say, like, well, what do I do today? And one of the things I was definitely looking at was doing classes in Udemy. And what was interesting is the fact that you can definitely record the Blab content from Blab and include it as part of the course on Udemy or basically upload it to YouTube, that you do have something. And as far as the overall picture of repurposing, one of my mentors is Jeffrey Gitomer, who's one of the biggest sales guys. And if you look at it, I have all his books, but it's all repurposed. It's stuff that goes from one book, it's stuff from webinars, and then you put it you transcribe it, and voila, there's your book.
Right. Yeah. Well, part of the purpose of repurposing content is to still be attractive to your target market, but those who are using different platforms, because not everybody in my target market uses webinars. Not everybody is on LinkedIn. Not everybody is on YouTube or Facebook or Blab or anything like that. So repurposing it and doing minor editings to suit the platform as well as the audience I'm targeting is where it's most effective. Now, I have no idea. Did you just do a quick change back there, Johnny? And I didn't see either.
It's my Blab posted. It's my Blab posted note trick. It goes over the webcam so that I can scratch my nose.
Well, I thought as much. Yeah, well, I thought maybe there was a quick change there because Samantha saw something interesting, and I missed it.
I was actually laughing at Johnny putting the post-it.
I was laughing at the post-it note.
I don't like the post. I don't like the post-it, Johnny.
Yeah, she knows the trick, Charlene. She knows the trick.
Right.
Somebody is flying at 10,000 feet in the air on a Delta flight. Chris is, and she's watching. Wouldn't it be interesting to see if we could get her on? Live Blab from 10,000 feet in the air.
Let's do that. Okay, so that was my comment. Thank you for
Hey, Charlene, Charlene, thank you very much for that.
Yes,
you're quite welcome.
Great, Johnny. She's lovely.
Yeah, we've been following. So am I going to try and let this... why don't you switch off your camera for a moment? There's no easy way to do it. I know it sounds strange, but there isn't.
Yeah.
Johnny, I'm going to have I think you're fine here now on your own. Everybody, there's 30 people watching.
I said I'd finish at 16:30, and it's now 16:38.
No. On Blab, that never happens.
What time is that in American?
Forget it.
I'm going to let Chris in, and Sam, I'll talk to you soon.
She's live. From 10,000 feet. Let's just wait and see.
About 10,000 feet.
Oh, she did it.
He did it.
Oh, he did it. Well done.
Hi, Chris.
That is so cool.
How could you do that in a webinar?
20,000 feet in the air, actually, not 10,000.
Oh, my gosh. That is so cool.
We lost your camera.
still, we did it. There you go. Isn't that amazing? That is cool.
I wonder if
right, I'm
that's
going to head.
first.
Maybe I might be interfering as well. So I'm going to head, and that is fantastic. That could be a first, you know.
Are you Skyping somebody?
Okay, talk to you soon.
That is a first. It has to be.
Actually, I think Tyler
That's
Anderson. Yeah.
Show 20.
Yeah.
Well, with the poor internet signal, you can now complain to Delta, and you can get some free miles out of it.
Absolutely. Don't you hate it when you're at 200,000 feet on a flight and your Wi-Fi isn't strong enough to use
the worst of it was I was actually on a flight going to a conference, and I get notification email right before takeoff that one of the web servers that I had, there was a spam abuse note. One of the WordPress blogs got hacked and it was sending out spam. So I'm on a 4-hour transcontinental flight and I'm just going crazy. So spent a lot of money to try to get internet connection going up, and trying to transfer files at 36,000 feet through that connection sucked.
I bet. First world problems, right?
Absolutely, yes. Those are first world problems.
Absolutely, and with all that, everything else that's going on. Just thanks for the browser tip. I was aware of that as well, but whatever's going on with my Chrome, I can't just switch it off that easy. If are there any more? Excuse me. Thanks, Nikki. Any more questions with regard to education-based marketing? I know probably 30 minutes for Blab seems short. I'm just scrolling back up through the comments. That's why I'm kind of taking my eye off the camera a little bit just to see. Don't forget you can /Q to highlight the fact that it is a question. Max, you're still in the hot seat. There are 2 seats open. Anything else to share, Max, in your experience in education-based marketing?
For small business owners, I think one of the most intriguing uses for Blab that I came across was, if you're a small business owner, you can definitely use Blab as not only as a way to provide content, but you can also use it as a way for customer service. So somebody even suggested, hey, kind of how you have a live chat on your website for customer service issues. Well, you can absolutely use Blab. Just have somebody sitting there, and if anybody has any questions at any point, voila, they can talk to a real person right there and then.
Absolutely. I don't think industry, if you like, has actually even seen. I mean, and it's only relatively new.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be so many different ways it's going to be adopted. I think we're all still quite excited about it, and we're drifting back into talking about Blab. But it's definitely, that's a key piece in terms of education-based marketing, because you can do public Q&A. I seen a Blab the other day where basically the host of the Blab was saying, watch me coach a client live.
Yeah.
Now you get the client's permission, of course, obviously, and you don't share their secret sauce. And I think it's a great model, because I find it difficult to come up with information in comparison to when somebody asks me a question.
Yeah.
Like when I get asked a question, I can't shut up. But if I was to sit down and say I should, if I was to sit down and put that answer into a blog post, I probably would struggle to come up with it versus being asked the question.
And that kind of really leads into a bigger discussion from the perspective of, we do have the content, and there's all of these different networks that we can use. You can post it for your blogs, you can do it on YouTube, you can do it for here. And here's a question. Anybody remember MySpace? And 5-10 years from now, who even knows whether Blab is going to exist? Who knows whether Facebook is going to exist? So I think really the biggest value is just capturing it, recording it. Once you have it in the video, then you can repurpose it to whatever your heart's desire is.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in repurposing, and I think if you can get starting with video, it's a great place to start, because it's the richest media there is. Then you split out the audio with Camtasia, and that becomes something for SoundCloud. You email it off to somebody on Fiverr, it comes back typed up, or you use Dragon Naturally Speaking and it types it up. That becomes the blog post. The video goes on YouTube, and the audio can eventually become a podcast. cut it up and edit it and makes an online course. It's just phenomenal. Nikki, I'm going to hand over to you for a couple of seconds. I'm 14 minutes and counting over time.
Hello. I'm just wondering what I should talk about, because there's so many topics that have come up, and even since I've been on the hot seat.
Sure. So I really, if you have a question about education-based marketing that either Max and I can answer, or maybe you have something you want to share about education-based marketing, that's really where we're at.
Well, I suppose I'm into education-based marketing because I'm teaching people how to do things and try and make it easier and accessible. And I think Blab, I love Blabs because of what I've seen so far. I mean, it's all new, and I've only been in it for a few weeks, but it means that you can educate. And I've seen people playing guitars on a Blab, so you could have music lessons. I've seen people painting, people doing demonstrations. So it's a great way to add a different dimension. And I think that I've got a few people lined up that I'm going to do interviews with. And what it means is, instead of having a one-to-one interview that you might say do on Skype traditionally, you can open it up so you can have the interview, get the information you want. Of course, it's recorded, but it means that other people can listen into the conversation and interact with the information and ask their questions. So it adds a whole nother dimension to it. So I think it adds to the education part of it.
Okay, absolutely, yeah. I see Hugo is really trying to get in. I know it. I find it a challenge sometimes with various settings and stuff or what have you. But I'm just scrolling back up here for further questions. There should be a Q's and at me near upper right screen.
And actually, Johnny, while you're looking for questions, I mean,
cool. Okay, you can hit Q. I love these tips. That wasn't there the other day, or at least I didn't see it. So you can hit Q up the top right. Did you know that, Max?
No, I did not. Learn something new.
Yeah, that wasn't there yesterday. You hit Q's and it just filters out questions. Who told me that? I got to send them flowers. Virtual, that is. I'll draw some flowers on my post-its. See all my post-its? That's my to-do list. But all the technology, I've gone back to that because I see that every day when I walk in.
So the question is, did Blab or anybody, do we know the traffic or the amount of users or where the people are actually located?
I haven't heard. I've seen more people that I'm connected with on Blab in the last couple of days than any other platform. I see Internet Business Mastery, Jeremy and Jason. I see Social Media Examiner. You know, all the guys big in the social media space are on it. I know Periscope released some numbers that it went like from 10 million to 20 to 40 to 100, but that's because, you know, Twitter is pretty much behind that. So the answer is, like, even if you Google Blab, it goes, did you mean lab? Okay, so it's, when you see something like that, it's pretty new. So I haven't heard of figures. I followed a couple of the guys from Blab on Twitter. I know they're based in San Francisco, probably in the Valley somewhere. I haven't seen any big numbers yet, but I'm sure it's huge.
I think I saw something like 60,000, which is, you know, relatively low. And most of the people that I've come across tend to be in the social media or coaching field at the moment. So it's really
the early adopters.
Yeah, early adopters. But what I think is really nice is it's very intuitive. So the first Blab I did, the second one I stuffed up because I managed to eject myself out of the Blab. I closed the Blab down by accident.
You hit the ejector button. Watch that ejector button. It'll do that to you.
But it's easy for people to come across. So I think for getting people who not using other social media platforms, it's fairly friendly. As long as you've got a Twitter account, you can watch it without needing to sign up for a webinar sign-in form. You can just make it really easy and accessible for people to be able to get the information.
Well, you don't need a Twitter account.
Okay, so like I thought that was one of the. I can't remember when I signed up.
If somebody goes to this URL, that or they go to blab.im and hit live,
Yeah.
They just see our three beautiful faces immediately with no Twitter, nothing. That's the Irish charm. That's you're absolutely right. It's even more intuitive than you had first thought, because I was showing one of the guys down the hall in the office here, and he never seen it before. Went into his browser, went into the site and clicked live online, and there you go. 3 or 4 people popped up talking to, not talking to him, talking. So it was.
But I would imagine to join in the conversation, you would have to register.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So, but I mean, it makes it really easy for people to watch information, get access to other information, and it's quite interesting to see which way it will go.
Absolutely.
I think the one thing that this definitely has over webinars is that you don't need to download anything.
Yeah, I remember my first ever webinar I watched was actually a Murray Smith one. She got me onto Twitter. This is in 2009, so
okay.
It was a long time ago, and it just was quite traumatic. It was my first webinar I had ever done, and it took ages to download and check my system was fine. I had a computer that you had to switch on and go and make a cup of tea and have some breakfast, then come back and it would still be going at that point, and probably had dial-up internet. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And Max, your point there, it would download for webinar. It's pretty much still only GoToWebinar that makes you do that. I mean, Webinar Jam, and any of them that are sitting on Google Hangouts, even though, in my experience, they're not as stable as GoToWebinar. But they don't have the download. And I was kind of thinking, how is this not like, well, first, how is it not like Google Hangout? And it kind of is, but so much isn't too. Particularly the social sharing and stuff like that, and joining in. And then I was thinking, how is it not like Periscope? And it's so not like Periscope. And people say, isn't it not just like Periscope? You kind of, when you use the app. But having guests on and stuff like that, that is just, when someone said to me about Blab being, it's a bit easier to use on the laptop, I'm going, well, surely the mobile is the attractive part, like it is with Periscope. But it's so not true. Like, I'm on the laptop here, and I couldn't host a Blab. I wouldn't, I can't see myself hosting a Blab on the mobile. Maybe on the iPad, but not the mobile, because you can't read the comments.
You can't read the comments. You only see the last comment on the mobile app, but it at least allows you to join in, because I've watched 1 or 2 Blabs on my mobile, but I couldn't see the comments, so it was a bit frustrating, especially trying to interact when you can't actually read what's going on. Wave to myself online. Should I take?
Yeah, but actually, if you actually look at it, it does the tunnel effect right back down to, and that's where you could really confuse things. But
unfortunately, I have a BlackBerry.
What is that now?
It's a BlackBerry Passport.
A BlackBerry. Could you spell that for me, please? I'm only kidding.
Unfortunately, there's no app for that. So, but I'm definitely looking.
It's not on Android either, so don't feel bad.
I don't at all. But I think so. Comparing it to Periscope and Meerkat, I mean, it's really about whether you're lecturing at somebody or whether you're going to have a more interactive discussion. And I mean, there's a couple of people that follow on Periscope. I can't stand it from the perspective of, well, number one, the comments. So anytime somebody replies, it automatically goes for their Twitter page. And it's like, well, I don't necessarily want my comments to go to my main Twitter page, which is also my business page as well.
Sorry, on Periscope?
Yes.
No, it doesn't. If you comment, it doesn't go onto Twitter.
It did on mine. So, or I might be confusing it with Meerkat.
Okay.
It doesn't. I haven't seen it on Periscope.
Okay.
One of the guys there, Forensic187, is all I know you as. Webinars can be private and not Blab. Absolutely valid point.
I suspect when they monetize Blab, that is one of the first things that they will do, that they will monetize that part of it.
Say again?
I said at some point they will monetize Blab. They've said they'll keep it free for a year, but I suspect that once they monetize it, they will create free private Blabs, because then there's money in that people will pay for.
Yeah, I could see that happening, and they take a couple of percent off your admission fee. I could see that. Hi, Terry. Is it Terry?
Yes, it is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm leaning.
A little quiet.
I don't know why I'm leaning, because I've got speakers on my ears, but there you go. But you could, if you have a little bit more volume, that'd be good.
I gotcha. There we go.
You're frantically clicking there for turning yourself up. That's good.
Okay, I just wanted to put my 2 cents in regarding webinars versus Blab. As you can tell, my company, I have a company, Forensic Training Unlimited, and I have kind of sensitive type material, case studies, scene photos, things like that. And I can't do that on Blab. I can't make it private, and I don't want these scene photos, obviously, to go out there in public. So that's why I was kind of leaning more towards the webinars. I love Blab. I've done many Blabs in the forensic and law enforcement type things, but I'm waiting for that particular feature that we can kind of have it private, and you can target your particular audience or your niche. And for mine, but doesn't that come back to Hangout then? You know what? Hangouts are a little bit delayed for me. So I am starting to use a platform called Zoom, zoom.us. So okay, I'm going to try that out probably next week to see. Currently, I'm teaching a criminalistics course, and I have a couple of case studies. So I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in there too. No, appreciate that. Do you you've got some online courses going on as well then? Yes, have some online courses going on, and I have a training program here located in Southern California for students, forensic students, wanting to get into obviously a forensic career. And what learning management system are you using? Currently, my classes are on Fedora. Lovely. Yeah. It's wonderful. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it really is. Thank you so much. I got okay. And, thank you. Thank you. Okay. I appreciate it.
Terry, before you go, so here's a question, and Nikki, you kind of started mentioning it. So with monetization of Blab, how much are you willing to pay for it? And if there is going to be a private feature, what's it worth to you?
Is this for Nikki or for me?
For either, for anybody.
Well, we start with Terry.
I haven't thought that far in advance, so that's why I'm trying to look at other avenues until they do it, because I know they will. Well, and quickly, Terry, do you have any? Because I know Fedora don't have it. Do you have any way of taking in assignments online? Not right now. Okay. Right now. So I'm trying to, like I said, incorporate that Zoom. I have yet to use it, but I was introduced to it a couple of weeks ago. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. Thank you. Okay. Appreciate it. Okay. And I hope I never need your services. Okay, would love private, yeah. A few people, great viewer figures, Johnny. Thanks, Michael. Michael's a fellow Irishman, a great videographer and video producer. I don't know if there's any more questions. Guys, I'm running 27 minutes over my scheduled time. There's no immediate rush, although there's probably somebody looking for me. But anyway, I'd just like to say before I go, actually, if I left and nobody else could actually allow other people in and all this kind of stuff, I was on a Blab earlier this morning, and somebody left, the host left, and everybody else was just kind of stuck. They could continue to Blab, but they couldn't let other people in and all that kind of stuff. But thank you very much for your input. It was great to virtually meet you all from all parts of the world. I'm based in here in Ireland, johnnybyrne.com or Digital Business Institute or earningwithelearning.com for any more info, questions, and I look forward to connecting with you guys again. If you have any further comments, I'm happy to hear them, of course.
Whereabouts in Ireland are you, Johnny?
I'm in a little place called Carrick and Shannon.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know where that is. I've heard of it though.
It's in the Sligo. It's in the west, Sligo, Galway kind of direction. There's actually 150 muscle cars in town on a cannonball run, and I was hoping to catch some of those, although they're supposed to go at 4 o'clock.
I'll be in Connemara, but that's as
yeah. It's beautiful there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Nikki.
No, I was just going to say, what? Just out of curiosity, what platforms are you using for your online courses?
Yeah, I started out with Kajabi, and then I moved to Fedora, and I'm glad I did. I think the guys in Kajabi are kind of redeveloping what they had to offer, but there's definitely second mover advantage where you see, potentially what people should be doing. So I just love Fedora. You can set up your school for free, and then for $29 a month you get they take less commission, and you can have your own subdomain. So if you go to courses.digitalbusinessinstitute.com, you'll see a free course there on. I'm just copying the URL into the comments. You can go in there and pop in and just see a free short course on education-based marketing. But if you're interested in using Fedora, you'll see Fedora from the student's perspective. So Fedora is great. It's kind of dashboardy like WordPress. You'd set up an online school in minutes. It's drag and drop. It's got coupons, discount codes, affiliate links. It plugs into Zapier, so you can make it talk to ActiveCampaign, Mixpanel, PayPal, Eventbrite, MailChimp, dare I say it, and so on. So it's a really, really powerful platform. The guys are based out of New York City. Got a couple of million in backing. It's quite mature as a service. They've got about 5,000 instructors using it now. They do great education-based marketing. They do great webinars in terms of getting your courses online. There's another one that's kind of come out the traps recently called Zenler. They charge a flat rate of 10%, no monthly fee. You can do your own subdomain as part of that. Doesn't just have all the bells and whistles, but who knows? But I'm sticking with Fedora. I mean, the one that makes you money is the best one, but yeah. I'm not a big fan of I won't name names, but I'm not a big fan of WordPress plugins. I think if you plan to make a passive income and have a real online business, plugins are potentially a way to start, but they're not as developed as a company that's got backing and are paying or charging monthly fees.
Yeah, I was with Udemy. I've moved my courses onto it's actually a coaching platform called Jigsaw.
Yeah, I know Jigsaw. Yeah.
Because that way it allows me to interact with people. So it's set up that way, and I can put videos and whatever in. I found with Udemy, and I'm probably mispronouncing it, but that's what I've always called it.
It's Udemy. It's just Academy without the with a U instead of. So it's the Academy of You. So that's why I think. We call it, but anyway, I mean, I've heard people call it Udemy.
I've got a course on there, but basically they discount it. You've got no control over the pricing at all. So at certain times it's been on the Thursday promotion or whatever it is, and you've got no control over
Well, you can opt out of the promotions.
Yeah, I just thought it's being devalued this way.
Yeah, so I mean the strategy. The recommended strategy is kind of a light version of your course on Udemy, or the full course on Udemy and give away the 90% and they do all the marketing, and have the same course on your own school like Fedora, but you have the course at say $95 and right underneath you have option B, which is $95 for the course plus $50 a month for access to private webinars, private Facebook group, etc., and maybe $4.95 where you get all of the above, and you get access to me for one coaching call a month for 6 months. So the more touch time that you're involved, the higher the price. And if people see $4.95 to talk to you for an hour a month for a couple of months, it makes the $95 look very, 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 very good value. So, but I mean, I've got friends making thousands of dollars on Udemy, even giving away 90% because there's 7 million students. So when you think of paying for GoToWebinar, paying for ActiveCampaign, running webinars, writing ebooks, all that kind of great stuff, you know, you wouldn't be long eating into the profit you get out of a €95 course. Yeah. So the strategy should be, in my opinion, and not just my opinion, use Udemy as the marketplace, the same as putting books on Amazon, and use Fedora for your own school where you control the price, and you have the email list, because you don't have the email list on Udemy. And if they even sniff that you're trying to get the student's email address, you're in trouble. So that's my tuppence worth on Udemy versus Fedora. It's back both horses, and there's pros and cons of both.
Would it be fair to say, though, that out of all of the education platforms, that Udemy is going to be still the one that's going to provide the most organic growth for your courses?
Absolutely. Skillshare or Skillfeed, one or the other, it just closed the other day. So, you know, Udemy, it's going to be around for sure. They've got 65 million in backing recently. You know, LinkedIn bought Lynda for 1.something billion. So it's a huge space. But the people that are on there for the $10 course. It's unlikely they're going to give you $495. And you got to sell 50 of those to get one of your 495s. So I think back to two of them, one for passive income, which is Udemy and the marketplace, but you won't get their email, and I doubt you'll get more than $10 out of them, with respect.
But on Udemy, so I'm developing, so I'm in wealth management and financial planning, and I'm developing a platform for younger millennial clients. And through technology, I mean, we can definitely streamline the process. And one of the things that we definitely were thinking about was kind of creating the financial planning courses, but having them offered either through our own portal or through Udemy or one of the other platforms. And that way, from the perspective of we create the content once, and then you do it at your own pace. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty much going to be the question mark. It's like, well, which way do we want to go?
Okay. I think you got to have your own. Like when you say platform, you know, Udemy is a learning management platform. But if you want to, and it has the marketplace advantage. But if you want more direct access and ultimately the email address of your students, you got to go with your own school, and therefore you got to go with Fedora.
Well, for Udemy, are they, I haven't looked too deeply into it, but are they okay with you pointing them directly to your website to sell them something else afterwards? No. Or
you can have links, but and certain amount of people will go across. But I know a Udemy instructor that invited because you can send each student a direct message, and he manually emailed each of the students manually through Udemy, and out of 7,000 students, he got something like 200 onto his list. So that conversion rate is not good, even after asking them directly. So that's you know, that's my opinion on it, and it's the opinion of a lot of people. I mean, a great place to get great information in podcast format about Udemy is John Colley's podcast. He's based in the UK, Nikki. The Online Learning Podcast.
Yeah, I'm not happy with Udemy, so I'm not. You know, one thing that you have said. I mean, I just don't. I put something up. It was an easy way to get my first online course up, but
it is.
And I've got a product up there, but I've driven most of the sales. I've driven myself. You know, sort of like.
So there you go. There's
And I know they actually emailed me to say I was one of the top people who had, you know, sent people there. You know, sort of like, so they knew that it was coming from me, and I thought, well, I haven't sent that many people there, so it doesn't mean that nobody's really sending stuff.
Well, there's a friend of mine not on it a year, and he's making $600-700 a month. He does no marketing of the course out of date, and he's re-recording a new one. It's very niche. He does no webinars, no blogging, no, you know, very little, a bit of promotion on Facebook.
I think
Udemy's been responsible for most of his sales.
If you've got a very niche product or something that, like in a search term that would come up, then it's good to have it on a platform that has got search engine optimization and everything built in, and the search things built in. But if you've got a course that a lot of people, people are doing in a space, then you're competing against everybody else who's got a course on there. And in that case, because it was a Twitter course that I put on there. It's not exactly a unique how to Twitter, but people who know me will know that what the value they'll get. But it's competing with a load of other Twitter courses. So so for me, what worried me was they're discounting it so dramatically, and that goes against my, I suppose, what I'm the core of what I'm doing. So but you have sparked an idea in terms of having a $10 product in there just as a taster to get people into.
Yeah, well, 27, so that when they promote it at 10, if you put it at 10, they won't promote it. So keep it at 27 plus.
Yeah, so basically because they will discount it anyway, would they?
They're discounted anyway, so you start at 27. I have a question from Robert. What if you already have a large following and can leverage a premium product, like a product around video marketing or live streaming? Couldn't you charge $299 for something like that? Absolutely, of course you could. We're not saying to to have cheap and cheerful courses. You can, there's courses out there at $1,000 or $995, etc. It's just there's a max of $300 on Udemy, which is a new rule, and the people who shop at Udemy are not, the majority are $10 buyers, and they know if your course isn't on promo, it will be next month. Or they'll find a coupon code on a Facebook group called the Ultimate Facebook Group for coupon codes for Udemy. So that's just the way it is. That's the type of buyer they are, and good luck to them. And I bought a course on Active Campaign on Udemy. Now I paid $23 for it as opposed to 10, but I could have got a 10 if I kept looking. But it was the only course, and I was happy to give it to the guy. I mean, it's $23. Where are you going to go wrong with that? But at $299, you're going to have that on your own school. You can put it up on Udemy for that money as well, but good luck trying to get it. And a $299 course, you got to be conscious of the length of that course as well. A good course, an online course, is 90 minutes. One problem, one solution, as opposed to a 6-hour, all singing, all dancing course, and you go, this is $995 material here, and they go, yeah, of course it is. But people are looking at not only the price tag, they're going, when am I going to get 6 hours to do this? Of course, if they did 15 minutes a day for a couple of weeks, they'd have it done. But that's not how they see it. So you better have a 90-minute and have 4 courses at $195. You could end up making more money, like having maybe 6 courses at $195 as opposed to 1 at $995, and suddenly you're getting $1,200. So that's my tuppence worth on that. And it's not mine as just mine. It's just from listening to those. There was a time when the 6-hour course was the way to go. Wow, if it's 6 hours, it must be the ultimate course. But it would take you a long time to put that course together as well. So short 60-minute to 90-minute courses at a nice price point, a few coupons to get it off the ground, a generous affiliate commission using Fedora, get your students to evangelize it, check in with them that they're progressing through the course. Fedora is great for email and students who haven't logged in a week. You can just go, I want to email everybody that hasn't logged into this particular course in a week. And you can do that from within Fedora. It's amazing. And they're going to have that functionality automated into Active Campaign as well. Now, they have it already with Mixpanel. So you can automate the student from A to B and make sure they finish the course and get the results. Then they'll be your evangelist, give them generous commission on the affiliate. Their affiliate system in terms of the URLs is a little bit nasty at the moment in Fedora, but they're working on it. And suddenly you've got a trickle of sales from your students. They're getting a few dollars. You're getting a few dollars. Everybody's happy.
Is there a different breakdown with Fedora, whether how the people find the course, whether it's going to be through your own affiliate link, somebody comes looking directly for your course, or they find it for you, or there is no such thing as...
There's no such thing. It's not a marketplace.
Okay.
So if somebody comes and sees the course and buys, you get, depending on the package you get about 87%.
Okay.
So they take 10% on the free plus your credit card, 3%.
Okay.
I just put up the URL there because people Google Fedora and get the open source. Fedora, not only is it a hat, but it's a Linux operating system as well. So anyways, that's the branding they went for, and so be it. So if someone comes through the affiliate link, then obviously they get the commission, but Fedora handles the system, or the payments and the tracking and the clicks and how much they're owed. They just pop in their PayPal address. I tend to use PrettyLink because the URLs are so ugly, and like I have digitalbusinessinstitute.com/max, and I create that for you and I give it to you because I know you've got a following and your name is in it. It's a good strategy.
Well, I'll definitely have a look at Fedora because I know when I was looking around, I first started on WordPress to try and put it in there, and I signed up for a, I suppose, plugin or whatever membership site thing, and then I realized, I thought, nice and simple, and then I looked at it and I thought, okay, I need coding. I don't know how the structures work, the membership levels. I'm going to have, so I started employing people to help me try and set it up, etc. And I was just getting such a headache from it. So Udemy was a easy solution to get the course content up there. And I had 4 or 5 hours, I think it's 4.5 hours worth of content.
Fedora is even easier than Udemy.
I'll definitely have a look at it because, and especially if it's hosted on another platform, how does that work with Moz? MozFat.
They're working on that too.
Okay, because if they're hosting it, then are they responsible for it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
They just haven't worked it out yet.
Okay, because the reason I'm keeping my courses with a coaching element is so that I don't need to, so that there's interaction with me in my courses.
Well, any digital product sold online, the VAT applies.
Yeah. So
coaching or not, I'm afraid.
Well,
as far as I know.
No, because we looked.
Is it not? Okay.
No, coaching is not. Doesn't. It's basically for a product that doesn't need any of the input from you. So anything standalone product, so like a book or a course that doesn't have any interaction, doesn't have any input.
But are you saying if you put a bit of coaching into your online course, from my understanding of, I'm not obviously, because this is a big discussion about beginning of the year, wasn't it, or like end of last year, because when they brought it in. Yeah.
And from
they're working on it. They're definitely working on it. I mean, you could automate an email out to people through ActiveCampaign, what country you're in. I know it's a pain in the ass, but
I mean, the course that I'm running, it does have interaction, does have coaching, emailing back and forth, etc. So it is interactive. So it's rather than a standalone course, whereas if Fedora is doing the registration part, then that's a very good reason to host it on there.
Yeah, and they use Wistia in the back end, so the reports on who watched what videos got engagement, all that kind of stuff. The reports is phenomenal because Anchor, the guy that one of the founders, he loves stats. So that's built into it as well. I got a question from Kevin. Do you upload the course to Fedora yourself? I do indeed, but there's also, if you've got a course on Udemy, there's a one-click import from taking your course from Udemy into Fedora, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely have a look at it. It's quite funny. I've got, in terms of what you can do educationally, I've got some notifications. It's the first time I've allowed it, and I think I'm going to have to switch it off. It's far too distracting. So I'm getting Blab notifications.
Oh yeah. My phone's alive here with people tweeting about it now, but it's great.
If you want to learn how to make Danish frikadelle and brown sauce and potatoes.
No, I'm good for potatoes.
There's a Blab that is teaching.
Yeah, no, I've cut out potatoes out of. For an Irish guy, I know that's weird, but I've cut out potatoes. I cut out potatoes, and within a week I lost 8 pounds.
Yeah.
So, goodbye potatoes. Anyways, I gotta go.
As well. Yeah.
Have a good night.
Max,
it's lunchtime here.
Thanks very much. It's what?
It's lunchtime here.
Okay, well, it's dinner time here. So thanks very much, guys. We'll talk to you soon.